Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Tia Codes, where I share with you tech tips and tricks as I learn to code. I've been on my coding journey for 5 weeks now. I'm self-taught. I've been using Code Academy mostly, but today very simple project with you, focusing on the JavaScript functions. I'm about to jump on a flight, so let's get into it. I'm going to hit record on my computer now, but I just want to say in my past video, I did explain how to set up the files in VS Code. And so if you want a more in-depth tutorial, definitely head to that video first if you're an absolute beginner. But if not, let's get started. All right, so today we're using a color flipper. So we're basically gonna click on a button and it's gonna change the color of our website. So I'm just gonna drop this folder into VS Code. I'm gonna create some files, starting with index.html. And I like to operate in separate files for CSS and JavaScript, but if you want to pop it all in your one file, especially for these quite simple projects, definitely do that. So I've got my 3 set up. I'm going to add the boilerplate code into the HTML file, and let's just quickly link them up. So we're going to go link relationship equals style sheet. Again, I'm speeding through this because I literally have 20 minutes before I leave, 15 minutes rather. So I need to be quick. Styles.css. This is a self-closing tag. And then just in the body function, I'm going to add the main.js script. So src equals main.js. And you do need to close off that script tag. Okay, so that's our HTML setup. Let's just call this color flipper. Noting the no U. So if you're Australian, you'll be used to spelling color or words like that with a U. If you use color, like as in background color, it'll throw error for you. So just start spelling color like, I think that's American spelling, right? All right, so we can see that we've got our tab named color flipper. Let's just add a quick heading in to our body. So I'm gonna go H1 and the heading can be color flipper. Okay, so I'll just click Control S. You can see in the live server, I've got these changes updating. Next, I'm going to create a div where I'm going to have the button. So I'm just going to call the div class button container. This just helps with quick styling purposes. We can style each of the buttons in one go and then just style the background for the buttons. You'll see as I get there. Okay, so using the button tag, we're going to call the first button the red button. Red button. Okay, and then we're going to put red inside the button. So you'll see here you've got the text red inside the button. For example, if I just remove the text, it'll just create like a really small button. So you can style it up later, but for the purpose of this video, we're not trying to create some amazing HTML CSS. So let's just keep it moving. All right, so I'm updating the different buttons and I'm going to go green next. Again, putting green in inside the button. The next one will be blue. And the real thing that I want to practice today is using the math function. So remember we've got red, green, blue, 0 to 255 in like the RGB scale. And we're going to create randomized numbers and then pass that in through a function in JavaScript. Pretty cool. All right, so we're going to call this the random button. Random. All right, so we should have our 4 buttons now. It looks pretty ugly, so let's just quickly style this up. I'm just going to show you a little bit more of the live web page. So let's start with the heading. Wow, not those brackets, the other ones. We're just going to align that text to the center, just because otherwise it's so ugly. Okay, so remember we have the button container and the buttons are inside the button container. So when we are using, so say if I show you and I just use the element button and then I go display an inline block, meaning at the moment we've got quite a small window view. So as we make the button sizes larger, I'll show you, but basically that will truncate in, but see how it's not aligned to the center. So actually on the parent element, which remember is the button container, which I'm going to need a dot because I'm looking for a class here. Let me know if you want a CSS HTML crash course. I started doing a few TikTok videos on it, but I'm convinced I can teach you HTML and CSS like quite quickly. What we're going to do is go text align. So same as what we did in the H1, and we're just going to go center, and this will center up our buttons. Perfect. Alrighty, so the buttons themselves. Let's first define a fixed width. Just they all look the same. And then we're gonna add a fixed height. I feel like 50 pixels might be okay here. I feel too big. I feel like that'll be okay. Let's just add some padding in. So padding, again, I'm just doing some quick CSS so we can get to the JavaScript fun part, because I really do have to go in like 10 minutes now. 10 pixels. So I've just added padding, top, bottom. No, I need margin, not padding. So padding is inside the container. The margin is how far away they are from each other. So that should be better. Cool. Anything else we want to do to the buttons before we color them? Maybe we just add a bit of a border radius to round the edges off. Usually I use 10 pixels to make it feel a bit clicky. And then what I'm going to do, little fun hack, is you go button and then hover. So when I'm hovering over the buttons, I want the cursor to click pointer. So I was having issues with this before. I don't know why the cursor's not working. This was on a different project. I restarted my computer, but for the purpose of time, let's keep it moving. So I'm not sure what's happening there. If someone knows, please let me know. Okay, next we want to go that little transform that I've been using. So you go transform, and then we're going to go scale, and actually making the button slightly smaller makes it look clickable. I'll show you. So I hover over and see how it feels clickable. Again, you could go like 90 and it feels like way too clickable now. So I feel like 97, 98 is like enough transform. Oh, it's like, oh, I can click on this button. Okay, next we're going to just style up each of the individual buttons. Remembering in our HTML file, we had button container and then the buttons underneath there. So the way we target those elements is button container, and remember we've assigned the red button as a class, so we're going to go dot red button, and we're just going to make the background color. Let's start with red, and you'll see this is like quite an ugly red, and so what I'm going to do is actually just find a more, you know, wholesome red like this one. It doesn't feel very red, does it? It's more like salmon. Anyway, we'll just stick with it. Okay, and then we're going to do the same for green. And again, I'm actually going to start with green. And then I'm just going to slightly give you a better green. Does they feel okay? Alrighty, and then we're going to go fix up the spacing here. And we're going to go blue. And let's start with blue again, same process, and just find a better RGB value. I know this is a cheating way, but you can pop these kind of questions into ChatGPT and get ChatGPT to help you find a better color. Let's try that. Okay, they feel kind of muted. Maybe the green is a little hot. I'm just going to back the green off a little bit. Okay, so that feels like pretty good with our buttons themselves. Let's now go to the JavaScript. So what we're going to do first is we're going to look for the colors in the CSS file. So what we're going to do is we're going to go constant body equals document get elements by tag name, and you'll see here it says elements, but I'm actually looking for in the body. I just want to look for the elements so I can find the names of the colors. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go body. And then remembering in JavaScript, it starts from 0. I can't remember the name for it, but it doesn't start from 1. So you actually need to look for body. Okay, so saving that will not make a difference, but just to prove to you what I'm trying to do, sometimes like a little hard to explain what you're trying to do, but you'll see the process. So if I go console log body, so I'm just logging that constant variable, and then I show you the console in my website, you'll basically be able to see now my JavaScript is reading what's in the CSS file. So you'll see div the button. So this is the, that's the HTML file. It's seeing what color is connected to the button itself. So let me just keep going. I probably need to like think of a script next time and like explain it to you guys better. But basically we're gonna go, so we're gonna click on the button and change the color to a name. So we're gonna go function, set color, and we're gonna pass in the variable name or the parameter name. And then we're basically gonna go change name. So we're gonna go body, again, using, this is the constant body. I'm gonna go style, background color. And remember there's like the camel, I think they call it camel casing in JavaScript. So you need, the first word needs to be lowercase and the second word needs to be, starts with an uppercase. And we're gonna go name. As my mum's calling me because I've got to leave for my flat. Okay, let's speed it up. All right, so basically now we've got the function set up and we're gonna pass in name when we start this when we call this function, we're gonna pass in name. Okay, so what we wanna do in the HTML file, this is a slightly longer line of code, so I'm just gonna drag this across. So we wanna go on click, and we're gonna go set color, so what we just created. Set color. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is actually, it's gotta be a string. So I've got to pop in that color that I created here. So I'm just gonna go copy. Okay, and then I'm gonna save. Hopefully this works. This is like beyond my years. It worked, okay. And then we're just gonna repeat that for the other buttons. So again, let me explain to you now that I just can remember how to do it properly. Okay, so we're gonna use on click. When I click the button, I'm gonna set the color to X. Okay, so now I'm just adding the green value in. And remember, so we need to create a string in our HTML file that's readable by the JS file. So that's why you'll see, so I've got double quotations on click do this function, and then we're passing in name, which is this, the color itself. Okay, let's just copy that down again. So we're gonna go on click, do this, pass in this color. Okay, and you'll see we've messed with some of the syntax, so we just need to have a look at what's happening. Okay, so we've left out, so you'll see here, so we've opened the function up and we haven't closed it off. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like this. Red, green, blue. There we go. Okay, so next we need to quickly do the JS file. I really need to leave now, but let's get to it. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do is we're gonna go function, and we're gonna go random color. Maybe for like purposes, I'm gonna go set random color just so it looks similar. And then we're gonna pass in nothing because we want to pass in the variable that we're creating next. Okay, so I'm gonna open up this function. I'm gonna go constant red equals math.random. And remember I said to you that the colors are between 0 and 255, and math.random is actually creating something between 0 and 1. So then what I need to do is times that by 255. So then it will go from a decimal to between that number. Hopefully that makes sense. It makes sense in my head, but when I say it, I'm like, am I going to confuse people? Okay, so then we're going to do the same for red, green, and blue. And then I'm going to create a new constant. And I'm going to call it random color. And what you want to do here is create backticks. So we're passing in this string, RGB, and $ this one, red. So basically, let me explain this. Find that number, this number, and just pass it in here, and then create a string out of it. Simple, right? I think if you do this a few times, like, it makes sense. It's kind of like muscle memory for me now. So maybe I need to watch another crash course and like explain it to you guys a little bit better, but bear with me. Okay, so now we've got const random color, RGB, red, green, blue. And then basically we just want to do the same operator here, but then we want to call random color. Okay, I really need to leave. Let's hope that that is right. So it's basically the same thing, but I'm just creating different values for you here. Okay, let's get rid of this. And it doesn't work. Okay, let me work out what's happening. Function set random color, constant red math.random, constant random color, is it because I've got random color in the HTML file? Oh, obviously guys, I haven't added the click function in. Oh my gosh. And then we want to call that function. This is why you don't rush when you do something. Call random color. And insert nothing into it. Done. All right, guys, gotta go. It's getting dark. Oh my gosh, look at the lighting. Oh, I gotta go. I will edit this video. Hopefully the outro is okay, but love you all. See you in the next video. Bye.